Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Math is Easy, step by step. All right, so in this part 44 video, I'm going to go over converting percentages into fractions into decimals. And so sooner or later, I'm going to create an instructional video to go over percentages, discount, percentage off, or which is called a mark down, or percentages of, let's say, a mark up, which would be something like taxes on an item you purchased, or a markup of a percentage, which also be interest, right? You borrow money, you pay interest on that borrowed money. That would be a percentage mark up. So I'm going to create a video, stay tuned, to explain percentages to help you understand the relevance. But for now, hey, let's get into the conversions. Let's just jump right on into it and do it. All right, so this symbol here means percent, and percent means per 100, right? So if you had 28%, that would mean 28 over 100. Let's take a look at some examples. All right, so here you can see, right? So 20% means 20 per 100. Another way to write that is 20 over 100, right? We've just converted a percent, 20%, into a fraction, 20 over 100, right? It's that easy. Cross off the symbol. You see it's not here. Put that value over 100. You're done. You're done. But there's something you do need to do. Do you know what that is? Okay, if you said reduce your fraction, if you can, 20 over 100, then you're spot on. You nailed it. So 20 divided by 100. 20, the numerator spot, is an even number. 100 in the denominator spot is an even number. So I know I can divide the smallest even number there is, which is 2. And if I have to keep dividing, which you can see, I will continue to do that. All right. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. I know that because 2 times 10 is 20. 100 divided by 2 is 50. I know that because 2 times 50 equals 100. So I've reduced 20 over 100 down to 10 over 50. Is there a number I can divide evenly into top and bottom? Well, I could continue to divide by 2, even though, we have a 10 and a 50, right? 10 divided by 2 is 5. 50 divided by 2 is 25. But I know that 10 times 1 is 10, and 10 times 5 is 50. So I can divide 10 evenly into top and bottom. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 50 divided by 10 is 5. Because 10 times 5 is 50, and 10 times 1 is 10. So you could have divided 2 into top and bottom and just keep dividing. But I know that 10 will go evenly without a remainder into top and bottom. That gives me 1/5. So I have gone from 20% to 1/5 fraction. Let's convert this fraction into a decimal. Do you remember how to do that? Okay, so if you've been watching my prior video, my earlier parts video on fractions, then you already understand every fraction is a division problem. So this will be very easy for you to understand. For those of you just joining, I'll try to reiterate. 1 divided by 5. Another way to write that is 1 divided by 5, if you're going to use your calculator, or 1 divisor bar 5. Okay, so if you've been watching my videos, you also understand to the right of the 1 is an invisible decimal. I'm going to show that decimal. And to the right, when there's no other digits, there's a bunch of invisible zeros. There's a million, trillion, billion of them. But I'm only going to use 4 for this particular problem. When you divide, you raise that decimal right above the decimal bar, and you start to find numbers times 5 that get you closest to the target. So 5 times what number will get me 1? Well, there are no whole numbers that will get me 1 as a product of 5 times a whole number. But if you multiplied 5 times 1/5, that would get you 1. But 1/5 doesn't fit in the ones place, which is right here to the left of that decimal. So there is a placeholder 0 because no whole numbers times 5 will give me the product or the answer to multiplication problem of 1. So I'm going to move 1 digit over. Now my target isn't 1. Now my target is 10. What number times 5 will get me 10? Well, 5 times 2 gets me closest without going over. So I'm going to take the product. That's the answer to a multiplication problem. 5 times 2 is 10. I'll subtract 10 from 10. That gives me 0. I bring down my other 0. At this point, it's a moot point because what number times 5 gets me 0? It's 0. And I can keep subtracting. I can keep bringing down all my zeros. But all these values will be 0, 0, 0, 0. So I can stop at 0.20. Or if the 0 is gone, that would be 2/10. Or 20 tenths is another way to say it, as we are going to keep this value, decimal value, as 0.20, 20 tenths, right? 0.10 is a dime, right? That's a tenth, a dime. 0.20 is 2 dimes. That's 20 tenths, right? So that's another way to think about it. Okay, so here you can see we've converted 20% to 1/5 fraction to 2/10 or 20 tenths decimal. Hey, remember, math is easy. Take it step by step. If I've helped you, please help me to help others. Like, follow, share, subscribe. This is just one of a bunch of different examples that we're going to do together. I also got some stop and pause practice problems you can work on. Thank you for joining me. Math is easy. You take it step by step.